Hello there and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to another exciting episode of Hollywood Backlot with Lou and you. My name is VashSky. I'm back, but I've been told, hey, you know what? Go ahead and rest up a little bit. So I am. That's why I'm going Avatar free today, or Avatar only, I guess. But somebody who, is so enticing and entrancing, he can go Avatar and everybody loves him anyway. It is the one, the only LW Ghost. Hello there, sir.
As long as I don't become a blue shaman in animatronics, I'll be fine.
Oh, no.
You don't want to carry that Avatar thing too far, So
Yahweh. Yeah, exactly. Oh, man, that's terrible. No, not that kind of Avatar. Although that Avatar is having a short re-release, that being the second film, Way of Water. And at the end of the year, Fire and Ash. Very interesting.
I've seen fire and I've seen rain. And I've seen, stormy days that I hope don't come again. I don't know. Anyway.
The gods have been angry.
All this celebrating, yes.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's all the Tiki Room references today. But we have to be talking about a Hollywood backlot that is a little farther away from Disneyland. Up in that LA area right here.
Oh, that place.
Oh, yes. Watchers of the channel and C3PO Live will know this map very well. We talked about this on the last C3PO Live, talking about Waterworld and how that attraction, might be going away. It seems like no time soon, as I think the company has actually said that, no, it's not going away, which is good. But I wanted to go ahead and focus on this northern area of the map because it has been all the talk, all the rage for quite some time that more of these sound stages up as part of this infamous backlot here might be going away for more theme park space. And I think Universal Apex actually raised this question here. Universal Studios Hollywood is over 415 acres. Why demolish beloved current attractions and not expand onto the lower lot when there's only 4 rides? And then here we go. Jakenstein Lives comes in here and says, I don't know how to tell you guys, except in plain English. Universal Studios Hollywood is a working film studio, and actually one of the few left in SoCal. Production is $1 trillion industry, and there's a union radius cap that Universal Studios Hollywood falls within, and they need those sets. Now, I don't know about you, Lou, but I mean, we've been hearing and we've been told, actually, that soundstage occupancy is on decline in the LA area, and everybody's leaving for not only Georgia, but a lot of them to the UK. My question to you is it still $1 trillion industry, at least here in LA?
It is, but then that's because of inflation in LA.
That's a good point.
That's because of property taxes in LA. That's because of all sorts of things that affect LA that don't affect or less affect these other places. And when push comes to shove, we shall see.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think when push comes to shove, I think, we might be already seeing that a little bit with so many productions moving out. But at least for Universal Studios Hollywood, I understand it's a huge backlot and it's a real working studio, and that's very important. But my thing is if you have so many productions leaving the state, do you necessarily need as much soundstage room as possible, or is it more beneficial to go theme park?
Showing how fast it has changed, some of these, the ones right along the river, are very new. They're not the old standbys like the Phantom Stage was, and
that's true.
Are. So at some time in the very recent past, they thought, let's build more. And suddenly, maybe not so much. So if you're always playing catch up to where the industry is going, you're probably going to lose, is my feeling.
I do agree. And
especially when you consider that the newer sound stages are all quietly air conditioned and modernly insulated and all the rest of it. There's a few old ones that could probably go, but it's a question of where does the revenue come from? I keep trying to remind people what is the number one difference between Universal, aka Comcast, NBC Universal, and Disney. And the difference is that at Disney, theme parks make up the revenue driver of the whole corporation.
Right.
Universal, it's a nice thing, but it's add-on. So, we shall see. Gosh, all those buildings, all of those old familiar places where once upon, as you put it, my stomping grounds were for many years. Things have changed. Things have changed considerably.
Things have changed considerably. I do think so. When you go in the lower lot, the buildings kind of to the west, I think, are pretty much safe. It's where the new campus is and everything else. Buildings to the north and to the east, not quite entirely sure. But I know there's a lot of projects currently taking place to kind of shuffle around that backlot. And just because you lose maybe some soundstage space closest to the theme park doesn't necessarily mean that you lose that forever. You can relocate some of the stuff.
And you also have to remember that most of these buildings, at least within the last 30, 40 years, were built with movie making in mind. I mean, the Sheraton Universal Hotel has movie wiring all through it. So you could use the lobby and you could use the restaurants and you could use the public spaces without a lot of effort. Some of these other places, not so much. Not so much.
That's a very good point. Very good point. And speaking of revenue, movie making, and where, that bread is buttered. Turns out the box office, not so great here. And the Hollywood Reporter has this to say: the summer box office is quickly turning south. Early hopes that grosses could top $4 billion this season have fizzled, as insiders bemoan a lack of tentpoles. This by Pamela McClintock right here, August 21st, 2025. Whoop, here we go. Let's see. Kryptonite is messing with summer box office. Heading into the start of the season, hopes were running high that Hollywood would make a roaring comeback and be able to best or at least match the $4 billion plus earned in 2023 at the domestic box office when the combination of Barbie and Oppenheimer turned into a cultural phenomenon. The 2025 May to August calendar was certainly promising on paper in terms of marquee tentpoles, led by James Gunn's Superman reboot, Jurassic World Rebirth, The Fantastic Four First Steps, only that the Dinos overperformed. And April and May were so strong that even while the month of June was down more than 12%, the full second quarter of the year was up a stunning 37% over the same frame in 2024, thanks to April's pre-summer offering a Minecraft movie and December's first tentpole hit, Disney's live-action Lilo and Stitch, which opened opposite Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Lilo and Paramount's Mission Impossible fueled a record Memorial Day weekend, prompting year-over-year revenue to a momentary 25% spike that still held at a solid 16% gain the next month thanks to 4th of July's Jurassic World Rebirth. You can kind of see how that, over time, how this has kind of fluctuated from its really unique high in 2013, 2014, that kind of frame, and then again, probably in 2019, and then obviously sinking down in 2020 and then back up again. When I look at this chart in terms of box office revenue, this really looks like theme parks lately. I must say.
Hagrid's
it's a similar
box
trajectory.
office adventure? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, exactly. But I kind of want to know from you, Lou. I mean, have people, changed their consuming habits in such a way that
this is tempered by the rise in prices.
That's a good point right there.
Not just the rise in prices, but the increase in the large format, higher priced screens. So there's somebody mathematically more adept than I am could figure out all of those ratios. But there is that.
That's a very good point.
And this whole, let's blame COVID for everything from your daughter-in-law's attitude to the phases of the moon thing is getting a little old, isn't it?
Oh, yes. I think it's already old and on the way out. Look, things definitely changed post-COVID. There's no question about that. The culture itself, I think, changed. We're going to be talking about it.
It changed. I will qualify that. Please. It changed in directions it was heading anyway, and COVID accelerated that change. But it wasn't a change that wasn't coming anyway. As far as people working from home, as far as commercial real estate in downtown becoming less valuable, all of that was pretty much cooked into the the technological revolutions going on. It just wasn't going to happen so fast.
Yeah.
But it did, and here we are.
And here we are. I think Hollywood really kind of did this to themselves. I mean, it was a 1-2 punch of, okay, now we're going to go into this postmodern era of movie making. By that I mean like story, script, casting, all of that. And then we're also going to, emphasize streaming to an absurd degree.
And by the way, Hollywood, here's a little tip. People don't want to have to do homework to know what the story is. And people don't want to have to use their phones like you're making them do at the theme parks to go to the movies. And people don't like being preached at and lectured to. If you could follow those 3 rules and come up with characters we give a darn about and stories that have relatively happy endings, you could sell tickets. Hell, you could sell a lot of tickets.
Yeah.
But they won't. So they won't.
They won't, and they won't. I do think the pricing structure for some of these movies maybe has to change. Having a set price for whether it be a temple or a comedy.
I agree, and yet,
yep.
The difference in price is not going to affect it if the movie is perceived as a Karen, a lecture.
That's so true.
Yeah. I mean, I won't pay $10 or $20 or $30 for such a thing. I just won't.
So it's more about
when I know that sooner or later it might show up, quote unquote, for free at home, and I can figure out what the fuss was all about and decide for myself then. So I don't know.
So it's more about the product than the price, is what you're saying.
I think it definitely is. I really do.
Yep.
On the other hand, the product, if the driving force is not the movie per se, but I got to see it on the big screen.
Mm-hmm.
Then the conflicting release schedules and you better do it quick because it's going to get bumped out by the next one in line. That is an issue. So they haven't figured that out yet. When they do, if they do, that might help.
Indeed.
But it implies a level of cooperation amongst companies that are deathly enemies. I've always told the story about when I was negotiating contracts with the studios about the one key factor in why we, in this case, the Directors Guild, won more than we lost is because we were united and they hated each other. And we went in this room with all these representatives of all these major companies, and you'd think they would have a lot of clout. But when they're looking over their shoulder at the guy next to them, things get interesting.
Wow, that's really interesting indeed. Speaking of interesting, Eric Stratton comes in here with a 777 with an interesting super chat. Lou, I know the general story about why Jackie Gleason took his show from the New York City studios to new digs in Miami in the 60s. Any details or stories?
You know as much as I do. The bigger question is why they quit. And he said that he felt like they were doing the same thing over and over again, and there was no point to it. So, not to mention in those days, aside from him being obviously a superstar and a super talent, if you're the biggest thing in New York, you're still the biggest thing in a pond full of big things. If you're the biggest thing in Miami in those days, you're the only game in town.
That's a good point.
So, the city celebrated it and welcomed it. New York, not so much.
That's a really good point right there. Unbelievably fascinating, for sure. Mr. Fulton Moraz comes in here. Hello, VashSky. I have big news today. Me and my Hamilton Courtesy Special Olympics rocking rookies. We have both won state softball games, and we are the back-to-back softball champions. Well, that's awesome.
Hamilton County, where? There's so many Hamilton counties across the country. I'm curious.
Yeah. Please let us know. That's fantastic. That's awesome, right there, Mr. Moraz. Very much appreciate that. And let's see right here. Yeah, there you go. So everybody, very excited for that. But somebody died.
By the way,
please.
Special Olympics is a wonderful thing. And one of the reasons why it's wonderful it's not competing against, quote unquote, the real Olympics or abled performers. unlike other problems we have in the world of sports these days. It is what it is. It's doing its own thing, and God bless them, everyone. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I very much share that. Let's see right here. But somebody not really enthusiastic about their future, Marvel. Disney's Marvel movies are losing $619 million each in takings at the box office. Forbes report finds this by That Park Place, Marvin Montanaro, September 5th, 2025. Disney's Marvel Studios, once the crown jewel of Hollywood's box office dominance, is now bleeding money on a scale that even Iron Man couldn't patch up. A new report from Forbes journalist Caroline Reed reveals the company has lost an average of $619 million in takings on each Marvel film over the past 2 years, a stunning reversal from the MCU's billion-dollar glory days. Between 2015 and 2025, Marvel was unstoppable. Some of its superhero films broke the billion-dollar barrier, capped by Avengers Endgame's record-setting at the time $2.8 billion run. That movie was the ultimate payout to a 21-film saga, and it gave audiences closure on characters that they followed for over a decade. But since 2020...
Here's the problem with that sentence.
Please.
In many cases, closure meant bye-bye, sayonara, all those people you love, we just killed them off.
Yes.
What do we do for an encore was the problem, and that was a big part of the bad thinking that went into that, in my opinion.
Oh, yes. I mean, my feeling was, Lou, was that... You know, I mean, hindsight's 2020, right? But looking back now, I think it's very obvious that what they should have done was simply reboot it right after that. I understand.
Oh yeah.
I think they felt they had more momentum, but they really didn't.
You want proof?
Sure.
I give you the case of a certain guy named Spock, who they killed off. And then his father comes to Kirk and says, well, what'd you leave his body on that planet for? He's still alive. He's inside McCoy's head. And by the end of the next movie, he's back together again. Jim, your name is Jim. And from there on, we continue. So
that's a good point.
It took them one whole movie, and it was planned in advance to figure out how to get out of it. These guys didn't plan a damn thing. All they said was, well, they're all dead, and we'll come up with new guys. Exciting new guys like the Thunderbolts and the
Ironheart,
and all those. By the way, asterisk, they're really the Avengers. Oh no, they're not.
You can call yourself the Avengers, but it's up to people whether or not they consider you.
Let's put it this way.
Yes.
John Steed and Emma Peel are more Avengers than those people are.
That's a good point right there. Since 2020, only Spider-Man No Way Home and
even
Deadpool.
Tara King is more Avengers than those people are.
Oh, yes. And Deadpool,
and
Wolverine.
Gale, anyway.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. Only Spider-Man No Way Home and Deadpool and Wolverine have crossed the billion-dollar line. Reed notes that everything else has underperformed badly, creating a new and damaging trend for Disney's once bulletproof franchise. The vicious circle of declining audiences. Reed traces Marvel's decline to several self-inflicted wounds. Lockdown timing. The first film back in theaters was Black Widow, a prequel for a character already dead, robbing the story of tension or stakes.
Hey, you loved her, we killed her, now we'll tell you how she got there. Oh, that sounds exciting.
Exactly. It's a fantastic point. Confusing continuity.
Here's another little tip. Mm-hmm. If you're going to call people eternal, probably should see if they're going to last more than a movie. Silly me. Silly me speaking English like a normal human being.
I never thought about it that way, but you're totally right. Eternals followed with what Reed calls an implausible premise, alienating audiences who were already hesitant to return to theaters. Streaming overload. Disney flooded Disney Plus with Marvel series, then tied them to the films. Once fans missed one show, they worried that they'd be lost on the next movie, leading to a vicious circle of disengagement and shift to younger demos. Marvel leaned toward
make me do homework to have a good time.
Oh, yes. Marvel leaned toward teen and child heroes, but kids flocked to movies like Super Mario Brothers instead, while adults, the MCU's original backbone, lost interest.
By the way, go back to that picture.
Oh, yes.
There's how many people? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 people.
Mm-hmm.
How many director's chairs did we see for the new one? Wasn't it more like 15 or 20?
Oh, yeah. I think it was 25, 28.
Yeah, when you try and say, well, we're going to have all your favorites in this movie. Oh, is it going to last 17 hours? No, the usual 2.5. I see. So they each get 3 minutes, and that's why I should come, is to see them and forget about all these other people I don't care about. That makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Throwing more
Vash,
people.
if they could afford you and I, they could make a lot of money, but they can't. So they're stuck with themselves. Anyway.
That's so true. The only 2 people they needed chairs, Lou. They couldn't afford us, that's for sure.
Oh, well.
On top of all that, Marvel's embrace of divisive cultural messaging only deepened the problem. Instead of doubling down on beloved, proven heroes, Disney shifted its focus toward female-centric storylines and B-list characters that lack the audience connection of Iron Man, Captain America, or Thor.
And let me say for the record, I have absolutely zero objection to female-centric storylines, whatever the hell they are, as long as they're good storylines and females I give a damn about, as opposed to girl bosses lecturing me on why I should like it. Or worse, the cast and director and producer saying, well, you should like it, and if you don't, you're an evil doo-doo head. People don't like that stuff.
Girl-led franchises or girl-led stories and so forth, they can be amazingly engaging to a very wide swath of the audience, as long as you have a story worth seeing, just like if it was a male.
I give you the work of, just off the top of my head, Sid Charisse, Barbara Stanwyck. There are thousands, well, at least hundreds, because there haven't been that many movies since then, of girls, women, whose characters were strong enough that an audience wanted to go see them again. But not to see them tell you, if you don't like me, it's because of your sexism or your retroism or you're a doo-doo head.
Yeah. No, I
try that in real life sometime. And there you go, Linda Carter. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And talk about a spin. Man, nobody could spin like Lynn.
Linda Carter was very good at the spinning. That's for sure. Yeah. The $619 million problem. Marvel's latest releases, Thunderbolt grossed $382 million worldwide. Disney's share was only about $191 million, far less than its production and marketing costs combined. Fantastic Four First Steps, $507.8 million, which translated to about $254 million for Disney. Again, below its ballooning $250 million plus budget.
And by the way, when she says they lose an average of $619, somewhere in that number, in that loss, is the money they didn't make by, instead of having Disney Plus, shuffling it off to Netflix land for a profit.
Yes.
They lost opportunity cost. Plus, what are you going to spin off of that for your TV show that doesn't keep score the same way? It keeps it in subscribers, which you're not going to tell us about anymore. They announced recently, right?
Yeah. And this is such a good point, Lou. The opportunity cost and the amount of money you could have otherwise made had you not made these horrifyingly bad decisions.
And by the way,
incalculable.
Nobody says, I'm not going to tell you anymore unless it's bad news.
Right.
Have we ever heard? I mean, for a company that makes headline press releases out of pavement changes, they took down the sign. Well, they're putting up the sign. Well, they're going to change the sign. If that's good news by you, obviously, if you're not going to tell us how many people are subscribing to your show anymore, that's bad news. And we all know it. We're not fools.
No, not fools at all.
Not fools and not fooled by such tactics. Let's put it that way.
It is crazy for the most successful, I would say, franchise films of all time, for them to, I don't know, their opportunities to be wasted, like you said, Lou, and for them to head down this terrible trajectory in which you're losing an average of $619 million in takings per film is absolutely insane.
By the way,
crazy.
It never occurred to me until just that little clip.
Uh-huh.
But what do you think about calling something Avengers Campus when the average fan is getting degrees on their own campus in gender studies? Or
Well, I think that's
they don't give classes at your local JC in superhero theory, do they? I don't know. Maybe they do.
I think that was
But
kind of the point was to
campus. Yeah, it's a campus. That's right.
appeal to a younger demographic by labeling
Because,
it
by
a
the way, the
campus.
first thing I want to do when I have a weekend off from my school is to go to school at a theme park.
Yes.
That's another brilliant idea. Yeah, right.
Well, they were also, I think, trying to shoehorn it in Disney's California Adventure. What does California have? It has a bunch of campuses. That's the idea. It's Look, I'm not saying it was the best idea, but it was an idea they went with.
Language matters is my point, I guess, and it really does. And oh yeah, there's a crowd. Oh God.
Well, we're going to be bringing back your favorite X-Men. That's the next step here.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Not so good. Look, you just have. Oh, man, you have so many terrible decisions. So many terrible decisions.
By the way, you know what I've never seen, and I don't know one way or the other, but is attendance up or down at Comic-Con?
Yeah, I don't know if they.
I have no idea, but I'm going to guess that other tthan the people who spend all their money to look like a fat, lazy, ugly version of a superhero. I remember I have been to one of those cons in my life, and it was because a friend of mine who was visiting happened to be staying at the Hilton across from Disney, and there was a Trek con going on. And, some bodies are just not made for spandex or velour. And they were all there in force. Anyway.
That's very, very true. But I don't think they track that info.
Well, they got to know. They know how many tickets they're selling. Whether they announce it or not is one more of those. Hey, if you announce it, it must be bad news if you don't.
I'd like to know if they keep track of Hall H attendance and all of that. I've never been able to find it. If people say record breaking and everything like that. Yeah, Karen Owen.
D23 doesn't tell, do they?
No, I mean the venue has gotten larger.
Okay, so fine, but I appreciate that, Karen, and it's good to know. But when we say sold out, we don't know what the capacity was compared to prior years.
Exactly.
You can sell something out if you limit the attendance real easily and just say it's a sellout. So I'm not accusing anybody of chicanery in that. I just don't know.
Well, conversely, if you increase attendance and it sells out, well, now that's a much bigger deal. Unfortunately, we don't know either way. There is something interesting happening at D23, though. At the D23 Expo, I guess they're getting rid of the Emporium, these kind of secondhand retailers that used to set up there.
Now, why is that?
Yeah, I've been trying.
Could it be that they didn't have enough people willing to pay the price of admission to set up there because they were seeing diminishing returns?
Or maybe they were competing against merchandise offerings that Disney themselves were providing. And
they might have seen it that way. Yeah.
I've been trying to really understand that story because I know we're going to cover it to a greater extent at that Park Place in some capacity. But I really don't know why they would do something like that. But I know fans are kind of furious. And look, Disney's very community driven, right? So when you take out a large piece of that community,
careful who you assemble. Boy, if they took their own advice on that.
That's a very good point.
Speaking of campus, what about assembly?
Avengers
like a rain
assembly
day version of recess. Yeah.
Could be. But anyway, just very, very interesting. And speaking of community, though, Mr. Fulton Mraz says it's in Hamilton County,
Indiana. Well, there's a lot of Hamilton counties, but congratulations on that one.
Fantastic. And Lightning Sketch Productions coming in here with the 499. Thank you so much. Let Hollywood continue to fail because failure will soon purify their products.
I wish it was soon, but they're awfully damn slow on the uptake, Lightning Sketch Productions.
Even slower when they fail upwards, by the way.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like, if you're a highly paid executive at any of these studios or a director or a sub-producer of the particular brand within the larger context, and everybody thinks you're wonderful, and nobody is there who isn't a yes man telling you you're fantastic, how do you know it's a failure? It's a failure for those little people, but not for you. And by the way, I've been a comic book reader and collector my entire life. Go back to that previous picture. Did you ever see that many characters in one comic book? Ever? Not in one series, but not in one book or on one cover, because even Stan Lee and all those guys knew you don't want to divide the focus so completely. Inclusivity of all those people is exclusivity of anybody who cares about one of them, because they know they can't be in it for more than 10 seconds until it's the next guy's turn. So very true. A confused group of people in spandex doesn't sell me. You know what it is? It's the costume contest at Comic-Con. Everybody posing on the stage.
Right. Right.
You know, I've mentioned that I was at the grand opening, the Hollywood premiere of That's Entertainment, and they decided to recreate what had been done at MGM back in 1941, 2, 3, where they put all the stars on one stage. And it was an amazing moment. And you had this fantastic group of people, but none of them were ever all in the same movie.
So true. So true. And well, let's go ahead and rip out a thing that comic books wouldn't even do, or at least to a large degree, and let's make a tentpole movie out of it, Lou. This is fantastic.
Oh, a tent pole. You have to have a tent.
Yes.
See, I mean, otherwise it's just a pole. And you know, all the pole dancing in the world ain't going to help if you don't have a tent.
It might actually help Marvel. Ruby Hoove with the $5. Hello, everyone. Have a great one. We'll have a great one yourself, Ruby Hoove. Thank you so much. Very much appreciate that. Love the cat, by the way. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I always say one of the great things about the internet or social media, I am deathly allergic to cats. Mm-hmm. They make me sneeze from a mile away. But I'm in several groups of cat fanciers on Facebook because I can enjoy the memes without actually having them in my lap making me ill. And tell me this animatronic isn't the same damn thing as the parrot at the new Beacon Barrel just reskinned.
It is almost exactly the same.
Although not as animated because he's got arms and parrots don't. But,
right. Not as animated, and he comes with admission rather than, you know, a 2-drink maximum over there at Beacon Barrel.
Yeah.
Anywho's, I have another story here that we have to get to, and that is Paramount.
Oh, I love this story, and you've got to go down to the bottom where he explains it because it's so true.
Oh, yes. We will absolutely be covering this right here.
Go ahead.
Paramount's new CEO tells employees to return to the office full-time or quit ahead of layoffs. This by Marco Quiroz Gutierrez, I believe, reported here at Fortune. Paramount CEO David Ellison, in one of his first company-wide memos, demanded staff come back to the office 5 days a week or else find a new job. Ellison, the founder and CEO of Skydance Media, became CEO of Paramount after its long-stalled $8 billion merger with Skydance was finalized last month. Since then, he has warned employees of efficiency changes and said in an email that the new return-to-office mandate, which will be pushed out in phases starting January 2026, will, quote, unlock Paramount's full potential, Fox News reported. But the mandate came with an not-so-subtle deadline. New York or Los Angeles-based employees have until September 15th to decide whether they will comply or take a buyout. The company will announce plans for employees outside New York or LA in 2026. Ellison
the next paragraph is the key stuff, folks. Pay attention.
Mm-hmm. Quote, as I said during our town hall, some of our most formative moments of my life and happened in rooms where I was a fly on the wall, listening and learning. But I've never seen that happen on Zoom, he wrote, according to Fox News.
Actual human contact matters, even if it's just to be observing things from a low level that someday may affect you when you move up, if you move up. So, you know, there you go.
Yeah. And I remember this paragraph goes in here and says that Amazon, JP Morgan Chase, Walmart, they've all kind of changed course when it comes to these pandemic era policies in which they were having people work from home. I remember Bob Iger very early on when he came back. This was very controversial. He said, "Look, you gotta come back to the office. You gotta come back to Burbank or wherever you're working because that what do you want to say that team cohesion that happens when you're at the office and working amongst other people is so valuable to our company." And that was 2023, I think.
Disney was doing it with the people at the Fox studio, saying you better come to Burbank or bye.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, I will say Bob Iger was a little bit ahead of the curve on this. Now you have other companies joining in, and apparently that is playing havoc potentially with the housing market, in that you have more you have more sellers than buyers by about 500,000, which is
a
one of
good
the
thing.
highest.
It should mean prices will go down, demand will go down, mortgage rates are coming down. So why is that a problem?
Well, so you could be looking at potentially a bubble if the housing market does go down. A lot of people's capital are tied into their houses, and then even though interest rates might be heading down, they're not heading down fast enough. You have a lot of people who don't want to get locked in at 7%. So it's not all bad, like you said, Lou.
Well, like it says here, these mandates have been slow to stick or have been important losses, including for Walmart, which saw its Sam's Club chief technology officer resign rather than move to Benton. Well, I don't know if that's such a great big loss after all.
I do agree. Look,
if you're not willing to go, I mean, you were happy to go to wherever you were. So anyway,
if you've moved out of these areas like New York or LA under the auspices that you can work anywhere, and now you have to return to the office, which I guess they'll have information on those specific people forthcoming. That's tough. But if you're in LA and you're just not showing up for work, times are changing. It's now time to come back. And on that front, I don't think it's the worst idea because I do agree with them. Like that cohesion that happens when you're in the office together, I think is valuable. And I haven't seen it happen on Zoom either.
And what have we seen happen on Zoom? People getting caught jerking off during the meeting. Remember that?
That's true.
It's like I saw a meme actually about an hour ago before we started, and it said, "So I was so upset because I went to Walmart and they didn't have what I wanted, so I had to come home, shower, take off my pajamas, and put on real clothes in order to go to Target to get it."
Oh man! Oh, I have to put on real clothes to go to Target. Oh my goodness! Yeah.
Well,
the
things that people consider to be, oh my God, that's outrageous. How can you put this burden on me if I actually have to show up for work? Well, we're sold a bill of goods by the new wonderful world of online whatever. And meanwhile, we are seeing our major cities, particularly the blue ones where there's high crime, vaporize, because when the office is not there anymore, neither are the restaurants where you used to have lunch, neither is the dry cleaner you used to leave your stuff at, neither is anything.
You have all these ripple effects that happen. And then the commercial real estate, right? That drops like a stone because nobody's there.
Yeah, well, and then they say, well, we can convert it into housing. Great for people who don't want to live there either. So
now you're talking about rezoning and all kinds of stuff. The return to office.
This ripples through the entire world.
Correct.
The story that I did for that Park Place has been out there for a while, so we can probably talk about it.
Oh, yes.
With the Six Flags deal with land up in the Bay Area. You might think, well, gee, a lot of these theme parks that are out in the burbs outside of city centers, that's prime real estate, for housing and stuff in the burbs or big box stores or both. It's probably worth a lot of money. And it sure was when they sold it years ago and then and leased it back to themselves. And now we see that at least in the Bay Area, they're going to close the park because the period for, hey, you can renew for another 5 years of lease to the big land company that bought that land, 4 or 5 years ago for $300 and some odd million. Well, tear your park down and go away. We already own the land, and we could sell it to somebody else, or we could develop it, or whatever we want to do with it. The point is, they needed cash in a hurry and thought that was the answer. And the answer is that the value has increased beyond what they could have gotten for it if they'd held on. So, Skydance, Paramount. Spent many a happy day at that studio and walking through those gates. And well.
I know you recall your time at Paramount with fondness, and that's
I do mostly. I also recall that the 2 or 3 sound stages that perennially held Star Trek one way or another had to have 24/7 armed guards because people would climb over the wall and sneak in and steal something, or try to.
So crazy. Yeah.
And then try and sell it on eBay or whatever it happened to be. So, yes, I've driven through that gate many a time. And in fact, you can go back one.
Oh yeah.
You can barely see. Do you see behind the guard shack in the background? There's kind of a wall that's almost the color of the sky, but not quite. Well, that's the back end of B-Tank. B-Tank is right there.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, and we've talked about B-Tank many times before. I'm not going to beat everybody up with it again, but
right.
It was right there. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And that's kind of like Paramount's Falls Lake. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, it's much smaller, but yes. That's where the whales were, and the Klingon thing in the whale movie, and lots of other things. Westworld, my famous story about the ever flying jet ski, was done there, and they did Congo and a lot of movies over the years. But anyway.
Yep. Well, I worry about the future of Paramount, but I guess, Lou, if I don't want to speak out of turn, but from the reports that I've heard, the general atmosphere and culture that you may have experienced when you were at Paramount might have eroded already, and so this might be a reawakening.
I don't doubt it. But in the olden days, they were kind of famous in the industry for promoting from within. And if you got in there and they liked you, they kept you, and they found ways to move you up the ladder of success. Now, I don't know.
Interesting.
Maybe it'll come back.
The return to office mandate comes as Paramount is reportedly preparing to lay off between 2,000 and 3,000 employees in November, now that the merger has been approved and resolved. As of December 2024, the company had 18,600 employees, Variety reported. So,
good commissary too. Well, these things matter, I mean,
yes, I don't disagree right there. I think they absolutely do matter. Speaking of things that absolutely matter, Amnok here, 60 Minutes got caught with biased editing again with Christine Holman's interview.
Oh yeah, I just saw Greg Gutfeld talking about that.
Yeah,
and he said, what did he say? He said it was. Oh, he had something very funny. He said watching it was like watching a Disney live action remake where they re-edit everything, or what was it? Wait a minute. I'll find the quote exactly because I shared it.
Yeah, please. That's pretty good.
He said that's the worst edit I've seen since they aired Debbie Does Dallas on the Disney Channel.
Oh man, his jokes are just funny enough.
Oh, and the other one was about the renaming of the Department of Defense as the Department of War. And he said, Biden treated the military like a Disney remake. Let's have a binary elf and a trans general. Pretty funny stuff.
Oh, wow. Well, look, if more in-person cohesion or in-person, I don't know, cross-pollination, I don't know what you would say. If returning back to work gets rid of this biased editing, which it is, I mean, there's just no question about it, then I think we would have all stood to gain quite a bit there. But, to get ahead of the crazy amount of layoffs that they're probably going to endure here, not a bad idea to just say, hey, either do this or take a buyout, because
Well, it makes sorting through who's going to stick around a lot easier. That's for sure.
Sure.
I noticed Amnuk said, wouldn't it have made more sense to take a loan out against the property, meaning the theme parks, versus selling it and leasing it back? Well, in a way, that's what they did, but nothing kept that real estate company from then doing that, because at least maybe they can write off the interest as a business expense. Would it make more sense? Are we talking about Six Flags management? Does more sense make sense there?
That's a really good point.
When you say more sense, I do not think you mean what you think you mean, as the saying goes.
I mean, Six Flags management. Oh, boy.
Anyway, they saw a chance to get some cash in a hurry when they needed it, and they got it, and they just thought they'd just keep on leasing it, and surprise, it's not worth it anymore. So all I know is if 5 years ago when they took out the lease and made that deal, it was worth $330 million. It's got to be worth more than that now.
Has to be.
So.
Has to be. Oh, man. No good.
Not counting the fact that the company they sold it to got that lease income for all those years, too. So. Anyway.
Tall Paul in KY says,
Here we go.
San Diego Comic-Con attendance, 48,000 attendees, roughly. 2009, 126,000. 2022 and 2025, 135,000, which is capacity.
Great. Well, good. I'm happy for the spandex vendors of the world.
Hey, you know what? Because
you see, the good thing about having a body not built for spandex, but being a cosplayer anyway, is you need several square yards more of it than the average superhero. So, anyway.
This is very true. But and Lou is not just talking if somebody happens to be overweight. Oh, no. The City Sweeneys of the world, they also need extra material. So there you go.
Well, in different areas and different dimensions, that's true. That's true. Did you see they're now complaining because she's in an ad, I forget what for now, but where she's playing a ballerina, and she's in a high-waisted ballerina outfit, and the shrills are yelling, "Oh, how dare she!"
No.
She's dissing all those women who work really hard to get in shape like that and become ballerinas. Oh, is she?
Okay.
Like you, Miss Blue Hair, 500-pound person? I'm not body shaming or dissing anybody. You are who you are.
Sure.
I am not. I always identify with the great late Victor Buono's poem, where he said, although my belt may not be svelte and all my seams are rusted, the kind of pot that I have got at least won't get me busted. And the other one he has I always loved, he says, I stopped to turn a somersault beside the San Andreas fault. A message came that said, cool it, Victor. The note was signed by Dr. Richter.
That's pretty good. That's pretty great.
Right, be who you are and not who your mind's eye delude you into thinking you are. So anyway.
Yeah, and being who you are, very important in this AI age.
Good point, Go and Shogi, about Comic-Con is more busy because many of the cosplayers make a living off of it. Sure they do.
Cosplayers, yeah.
Well,
that's what I was referring to right there. Lots of spandex being sold right there. From that Park Place, Warner Brothers Discovery joins Disney and NBC Universal in Mid-Journey AI lawsuit. September 5th, 2025 by Marvin Montanaro. The Mid-Journey AI lawsuit just got a whole lot bigger. Warner Brothers Discovery has officially joined Disney and NBC Universal in a high-stakes legal showdown against the AI art generator, accusing the company of mass copyright infringement that strikes the heart of Hollywood's most valuable properties. Filed on September 4th in Los Angeles federal court. Warner Brothers Discovery's complaint claims Midjourney illegally trained its AI on copyrighted material and allowed users to generate unauthorized images of legendary characters, including Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Bugs Bunny, Scooby-Doo, and Powerpuff Girls. According to the filing, the company knowingly stripped away protections, profited from infringement, and turned its platform into a digital factory of knockoffs. The latest action follows the Midjourney lawsuit filed in June by Disney and NBC Universal, which accused the AI company of misusing characters like Elsa, Ariel, Minions, and even The Simpsons. Their case branded Midjourney a, quote, quintessential copyright-free writer, and warned that the unchecked spread of AI-generated content amounted to a bottomless pit of plagiarism. With Warner now joining the battle, three of Hollywood's largest studios are united in pushing back.
Yep.
Woo! The war against AI by Hollywood continues.
Well, but see, it's not a war against AI. There is a great quote from my dear departed pal, Ray Bradbury, and he said, quote, "I don't think the robots are taking over. I think the men who play with toys have taken over. And if we don't take the toys out of their hands, we're fools," unquote. So, it's, I always keep saying the most important part of your car is the nut that holds the wheel. And this whole idea of what is and what isn't fair use and what is and isn't a copyright, it has yet to be determined in the courts. And when it is, I think a lot of these people are going to lose. So I guess you could say they're cashing in while the sun shines. And I guess the price of this lawsuit will be the price they pay. So
yeah. The question is if the price they pay will be crippling to the point where they'll not be able to continue to operate, or will it be so much that they will obviously change their ways? And what happens to generative AI if safeguards or rails are put in place? And is that even possible at this juncture? Not entirely sure.
I don't know. I just know that all of these people with great copyrighted IP should have jumped on this bandwagon themselves first.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting.
I mean, just think about it. If you want to make a generated Baby Herman or Buzz Lightyear, what would you rather do? These people are getting paid, right? They're getting some kind of license to their software to do it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you rather have the real thing from the real creator? I sure would. It's going to be better. And there will always be people who will buy the cut rate version, of course, but still.
You make an interesting point, though. On the one hand, it's like, well, why would we give people the tools in order to rip off our trademark or our characters or reuse them or whatever?
The answer is you're not going to give them anything. You're going to charge them for it, and therefore they're not ripping it off. They're paying you no differently than when they buy merch of that character or a popcorn bucket somewhere else. And
people are going to utilize these tools anyway, so you might as well make a profit off them before other people do with your characters.
If I come out with something I don't call a popcorn bucket, but call a snack munching bucket, and it looks like some of these characters, am I going to get sued because I'm infringing on the popcorn bucket sales? I don't know. But somebody's going to try. You just know somebody's going to try.
Sure. Well, I mean, you go to China, and I'm sure there's all kinds of things that are labeled.
Probably the same factory that's turning out the official ones is turning out the knockoffs.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Those wonderful folks that aren't buying our movies anymore and that want you to say thank you in the credits to the people oppressing people for their ethnicity or belief. Yeah, that's a good formula for success. Anyway.
Generative AI. I mean, it's definitely the talk of the town here. Warner Brothers understands, I think, the stakes.
We should count our blessings and say it's better than degenerate AI of a kind that you and I were discussing earlier. So anyway.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. It's much better right there. It's a brand new world. And once this genie is out of the bottle, can you even stuff it back in? I'm not entirely sure you can. And when it comes to large language models in general, like Culture Casino always says, hey, look, I've got a large language model playing on my laptop right here. How do they
What's her name?
Yeah.
Who is this large language model playing on your laptop, and does your wife know? Is she wearing American Eagle jeans is what my question. Anyway.
That's true. I don't think so. I think entirely digital right there. So the jeans would be ones and zeros. But
how can Disney own the Spider-Man copyright? Well, it's simple. They bought it.
Yeah, they bought it. They bought all these things or have created them in house, and so I understand I understand wanting to protect this. And Midjourney, I think, is one of the smaller players in this whole game. So you're wanting to set precedent with, let's say, lower caliber lawyers.
You go after little ones because they can't afford the legal bills.
Correct.
The big ones. That's all.
And then you set precedent, and that becomes law. Right.
Well,
so
it certainly becomes precedent. Whether it's law is another story, but still, yeah. And then people say, well, we didn't do it the way they did it, and they can fight over that for 4 years in discovery. But
very interesting. It is very, very interesting how this is all shaping up. And
no, Sony exactly doesn't. They have a license from Marvel, which is owned now. It's a complicated thing, but trust me, it's not as cut and dried as you'd like it to be. Sander Hammerslag said that Sony owns that. Well, sort of, kind of, maybe. Anyway.
Very interesting. Very interesting indeed.
Earlier celebrating all the movies that led up to Avengers Endgame. Not all of them were Disney movies. They were from various places until Disney took it over. So, anyway.
Yep. Well, we'll keep everybody. I think this is one of the biggest lawsuits here actually playing out right now because it speaks to tools that are being used by so many.
Is the thing at the bottom? Wait, go back one to that one of The Simpsons, can you?
Yeah. Let me see here.
Is the thing at the bottom the prompt that was used to generate the imitation? Popular. If I put in, I want you to show me a popular '90s animated cartoon with yellow skin.
Gotcha.
It just knows it's The Simpsons.
Well, that's the thing
and
about
that
these.
may be a way around it. It's like, well,
right.
All I did was ask it for an animated thing, and I didn't. I don't know.
Well,
this is the kind of a case. All of these cases that the only people who get rich are the lawyers.
Well, yeah. Oh, that's true. That's very true. But I think more than that, though, I think Hollywood's desperate to protect their IP, and like you said, Lou, with these prompts, that's really where the rubber hits the road here, because you can put all the safeguards that you want and say, well, this is copyright or whatever. I'm not going to generate this, not going to generate that. But in popular '90s animated cartoon with yellow skin, how do you even guard against that? Really, honestly. I mean, I've heard of crazy stories.
Wait. What about Hong Kong Phooey? He had yellow skin. Anyway.
Oh, no. Oh, Lou, come on now. Goodness gracious. Well, but I've heard about prompts where it's like, okay, if I want to do self-harm to myself, obviously the AI is going to say, hey, that's no good. But
not so obviously. There have been cases now
where
some of these chat GPT things have counseled you on how to do it.
Right. But it's been under the auspices of, well, I'm writing a book about this. So if that character were to do this, what would be the most efficient way?
Yes.
Right. And so it gets really dark really fast, and people are, engineering ways to get around the safeguards.
We have ways of making you TikTok.
Yeah. So it's just, man, it's really going to be fascinating how all this turns out, because I do think that NBC, Universal, Disney, and Warner Brothers are going to win on this. The question is what substantial change comes from it, I guess, is the bigger.
Well, and the other question is, how applicable is it to anybody else? And if their big win is we make you stop, or you give us so much money as a recompense for your past sins, then it's okay. Now let's sue the next guy.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been cases like that where.
Oh, yeah. You start with the little guys, and then you say, hey, we're going to cite this case in our lawsuit against you.
Man in robes with light sword, movie screen cap, style raw. What does style raw mean, by the way, in that parlance? I don't know.
I think it's like, maybe it doesn't look AI. Maybe it looks like it's.
Oh, I see.
Straight from the footage or whatever.
It's the equivalent of fogging the miniature sets when you shoot them. Yeah, okay.
Right.
Anyway, it is the world in which we live.
The world in which we live, indeed.
Which we must say, the world in which we live is better with music. Segue.
Oh, yes.
Segue.
Oh, yes.
We've done a lot of things on our jukebox segment of movies and TV themes. Last week's was kind of fun with the Bollywood take on Sherlock. Well, I found one. There's a thing called FM that has great music stuff. And they did the top 10 gaming themes reinterpreted. And that's what our link is this week. And if you go look at it and click on it, you can hear them. And it's in the description. And enjoy.
Yes, I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat as well. Because I think the gaming scores, I think, are absolutely awesome. I know I have my favorites, a lot of those by Jeremy Soule.
What's your favorite? Which game?
Probably it's either Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion or Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. Gun to head, probably say Oblivion. I just think that score is just absolutely amazing. And for only having so many music tracks in that entire game, for those never to feel old and always feel interesting is quite remarkable.
And the proof of their value is that I have noticed when you go to get a game on Steam, you can buy the deluxe version, which usually includes a whole file of just the soundtrack.
True.
So obviously the music, I mean, I was, I'm out of touch with most of that, but I was in an Uber going to an appointment and he was playing this music. I said, God, that's really great. What is that? And it turns out it was from a game. I forget which one, but I mean, I didn't recognize. He looked at me like, "What planet are you on that you don't recognize it?" So
that's fun.
Something is always new to everyone is the moral of that story. So
there's a whole bunch of game scores in here. I mean, I think that this is a fantastic pick, Lou. Last of Us, Sonic, and just all kinds of stuff. I am surprised that the Elder Scrolls isn't in here, but c'est la vie.
Hey,
that's okay.
Everybody picks their own favorite, I guess. But
everybody does. Everybody does. Super Mario Brothers, great stuff right there. Red Dead Redemption. So definitely check it out because these scores now, at least for video games, are when you are selling $500 million worth of game or whatever, and it's being played for hours and hours on end. Some people nowadays have more of an intimate both awareness and resonance with these video game scores.
Well, one of my favorites was a game called SY, not CY, Siberia. And Siberia 2 had this haunting, wonderful music. And then, of course, I'm a big fan of Baba Yetu from Civilization 4.
Sure.
And and I mean, part of it is that people do tributes like this. Part of it is that some of these a cappella artists are doing them. Certainly Maytree is doing it, but also Peter Hollins and some of these others are doing, hey, you go where the popularity is. So I guess what I'm saying is where movie music scores maybe have become second place, and certainly television series, which used to each have a whole theme song, are now 3 chords and you're into the show. It's nice that gaming is picking up the slack for that, for music.
Yeah.
I'm all for
I love that.
Anyway, that's our jukebox interlude for this week. And for next week, oh boy, stay tuned.
I like next week as well. But we'll
definitely save it for next week. I find something today, and I said, "Gee, I'll have to save it for next week." But
please do.
It just shows you how important music is to the mood of what you're watching. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh yes, it's so true. Speaking of what we're watching, Lou, what are you guys watching over there? The genre guys.
Oh golly, what are we watching? Let's see. Next. Well, we just did our film noir duet. Next, we're doing, a couple of movies that are favorites of mine that have been on our list for a long time, but we haven't gotten around to, and now we finally are. One of which has an interesting soundtrack, by the way. because it's by a group called Badfinger, which was a Paul McCartney spinoff that he created. And you might remember the song, but if you want it, here it is. I can get it. But you better hurry because it may not last. Anyway, that is The Magic Christian, which is Ringo and Peter Sellers out to prove to the world that people will do anything for money. And all the Monty Python guys are in it, and Spike Milligan, and Yul Brynner, and Roman Polanski are in it. And Christopher Lee reprises his Dracula part in it. And it's a pretty crazy, wonderful, strange movie. And Raquel Welch, most famously, is in it in all of her glory. And I mean almost all of it. And then we're also going to do, what's the other? Oh, A Boy and His Dog, finally, which I've been pressing for weeks and months, which is a marvelous interpretation of a movie based on a story by Harlan Ellison about a future in which soldiers are paired with telepathic dogs because they can sniff out the enemy. And it's Don Johnson's first starring role, really. It's probably the one that got him Miami Vice. And the dog's voice is done by Jason Robards. And I saw this movie when they brought it down, the producers and Harlan and everybody, to USC to show it to us as a preview. And you know how students are. They ask stupid jerk questions. And one of them stood up and said, Mr. Ellison, when you wrote the book, you didn't specify the breed of the dog. How did this dog get the part? And with the producer sitting there, he said, like everything else in Hollywood, he screwed the producer. So that was kind of funny as a memory of that show. But anyway, it's a fun thing about the future and how it could go. And so those are the next two on the schedule, which we'll record, I guess, next weekend. And from there, who knows? Send us your love and your choices. And meanwhile, they show up here eventually. But if you, one of the people who recently gotten gifted, as people have been so generous, a membership in the Pro Channel, one of the perks is that you get to see the genre guys first and exclusively. So go look around over there and you'll find, well, we've been doing it now for what? 60, 65 weeks, something like that. So
something like that. It's been a while.
It's become a mainstay, as they say.
A mainstay indeed.
And also in our most recent one, we were rejoined by our founding father, Hangry Table, who's been out of touch for a couple of weeks. But so, you know, the gang varies, but it doesn't change. It's always Lauren and I and anybody else who wanders in. Speaking of Lauren and I did their show this past week on a very, very interesting topic that they wanted to do, which was when guest stars or minor characters take over a show. And if you want to watch that, I'm sure it's still up there to be watched. And then, of course, you and I are usually together at 3 o'clock on Tuesdays after the Pro Show with the T3PO show. And I'm usually there Monday nights on the Pro Show, what I always call the super double secret probation late night show on Monday nights. So,
yes. Yeah, it's pretty crazy there at night.
Yeah, well, you know, we think YouTube isn't watching quite so close at that hour of the night. I could be wrong. We may have a comeuppance coming, but in the meanwhile, we're getting away with it. So there you go.
There you go. They're pretty fun for sure. And for people who are asking and for sending the well wishes, thank you so much. Very much appreciate that. Like I said at the top of the show, I was giving advice just to relax just a little bit. So that's why I went Avatar only for this show right here. But thank you so much for the well wishes. I don't know. The tough thing about this is that you really don't know unless you just don't experience it for a while. Then it's like, oh, okay, I guess it passed.
Oh, it's, and I'm looking at chats, and Amnuk says, I stayed home and spent yesterday watching disaster movies, Airport, Airplane, and Airplane 2. I'm glad those were the ones you watched instead of Airport, Airport 2, Airport 3, and Airport 4, because they got really bad in a big hurry after the first one. I mentioned I bought a disc with all 4 airport movies. It was called the Terminal Package. And oh God, it was so good at the beginning and so bad by the end.
Yeah, it's
but anyway, that happens. And I see Eric Stratton talking about Fonzie and Klinger, and we mentioned those and others. So you'll find all those topics interesting. So I got in the way of you talking about how nice people are to us, and they are, because let's face it, they have good taste.
They have very good taste, and even better taste when they email us at t3ponline@yahoo.com. Thank you so much.
Questions about how Hollywood really works as opposed to what you've been fed a pack of lies about.
Yes.
Malarkey, as somebody once called it.
Malarkey.
Bourgeois.
Indeed.
Jibber jabber.
Yeah. All those things. So
Jibber
definitely
Jabber the Hutt. He was kind of a rambling guy, but anyway.
Definitely send us your questions over there at t3ponline at yahoo.com. And I think that just about wraps it up. If you want to go ahead and find me, you can find me at That Park Place. And 2-3PO Live, as Lou was saying, that's 3 p.m. Eastern, following the Pro Show on Tuesday. And on the mornings of Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11 p.m. Eastern, it is Morning Magic. So definitely check us out there on the That Park Place channel.
Morning Magic. Morning Magic.
Morning Magic. The best place to find magic. I don't know if that works, but you know what does work? Ron from Father Bradley's Fun, he's going to be hosting the dish in about 2 minutes now. So let's go ahead and get on over there. We're going to go ahead and redirect you to that amazing program right there. Thank you so much, Ron, for supporting the channel and for, well, providing a great place to go after
and
this
if you
show.
haven't watched Ron's video of going through the car wash at Buc-ee's, that's a rare and magical moment indeed. You should see it.
So good. All right, let's go ahead and get you on over there. Thank you so much, guys. We will talk to you later, or at least see you later. That's going to be at 2 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. Same bat time, same bat place. Like, subscribe, do all the things. We'll see you on Tuesday, everyone. Thank you so much. We're out.